Supervisor, Teacher Ed, over at the lovely UC Riverside. There it is. All right, here in the local. And she's also author of Modeling Math and Authentic Problem Solving in the Middle School. So I'm sure she's going to talk about middle school and modeling and being a fashionista and all that fun stuff. And so let's hear her true truth and a lie. Maybe she bicycled through Italy. Maybe she's very flexible and can brush her teeth with her toes. Oh, girl. All right, or maybe she has a pie tattoo. Let's figure it out. Here you go.
When I started teaching some 30 some odd years ago, I started the way lots of you probably did. I taught the way I was taught. And my classroom was in nice neat rows, and I stood in front at the overhead projector or the chalkboard, and I taught my class. And that's how my students learned. They did okay, because in those days I was at a private college preparatory high school where my biggest worries were getting them to tuck in their blouses and leave their frappuccinos outside the door. Then I went to public school and things changed. I got hit hard by a lot of facts that made me uncomfortable and were very different from the way I had been teaching. I had to change things up. It wasn't going to work anymore. These facts were difficult. I was facing a different population of students with a lot of challenges I had never seen before. I was looking at a lot of apathy and lack of motivation. I was looking at students who told me, that's my second period class last year, 6 ankle bracelets. A lot of discipline problems, a lot of kids who just said, give me the F, it's fine, give me the F. And so I thought there has to be a better way. I have to figure this out. I started doing some research, I talked to people, I visited classrooms, and I decided there's got to be a better way to challenge and reach these students, because the old way is not working with them. So I changed my teaching, and I started with baby steps, presenting some authentic problem-solving opportunities, some mathematical modeling opportunities, putting kids in groups and letting them talk to each other instead of me talking to them, letting them share their thoughts about math. And after the baby steps, I got so much powerful feedback from them that this is working and this is exciting, and they are learning mathematics and they're talking about mathematics, that I kicked it up and I kicked it up some more, and my classroom became a very engaging place where students were thinking and talking. And these opportunities, these authentic tasks, provided access for every learner in my classroom. Every child is a mathematician. They developed an understanding, a deep understanding of mathematics. They were engaged, and we were providing equity for those students. So I started talking and doing research with teachers and saying, why aren't we doing this everywhere? And they told me, I'm afraid of losing control of my classroom. I'm afraid of letting go. I don't like the mess. I don't like the noise. But while they were saying that, they were also telling me, I believe this works. I believe this is what's best for my kids, so I need to learn how to do it. I believe they receive a better understanding of mathematics when they are in this kind of environment. And so they were willing to make the change, and so I would encourage you to do what I did, which is step out of your comfort zone. Provide challenge for these students and for yourself. It's scary at first. I didn't like getting the seats out of rows. I didn't like the noise and the mess. But I made a change and I adjusted because they needed it, and I wanted to reach those students. And so when you move out of your comfort zone, suddenly it's your new normal. My classroom is very active and messy and noisy now, and I never would have thought that would happen. But it works, and I'm hearing kids talking about math. It created a shift in my thinking, and I hope there's a shift in your thinking as well. That when you look at these activities, you don't see them with fear, but perhaps you'll look at a mess in a classroom, and instead of seeing this as being messy, you'll see that this is a beautiful mess. These kids are thinking and engaged and talking about mathematics. They're understanding math at a deeper level. Every single student in that classroom is developing a voice and developing mathematical autonomy, who's able to think about a problem, collaborate, work with kids. Yeah, it's messy, but it's a good mess. It's a beautiful mess. These kids are learning, and they're learning with a depth that they have not been learning before. And they're all learning. It's an equal opportunity for every student in that classroom. Maybe if you can shift your thinking, you won't just hear noise. Instead of hearing noise, you're going to hear productive noise. When you stop and listen to what they're saying, you're going to hear kids talking about math. You're going to hear kids excited about math. You're going to hear kids making connections to the world around them and outside of the classroom.
You won't just see them screwing around and having fun, you'll see them enjoying the math, being engaged in the process and loving what they're doing. They're having fun while they're learning. They're engaged in the investigation. And so if this 1985 Nancy had walked into my classroom today, she would be freaked out and run because it's noisy and it's messy and they're not in rows and they're talking and I'm not talking. But if she stayed long enough to sit and listen and watch and see what's happening in that classroom, I think she would learn and be very gratified and motivated to turn things around and do things a little differently. I'm an old dog and I can change my tricks. My challenge to you would be, get out there, try it. Try it a little bit and you'll see the power of this. Try it a little bit more, get in the classroom and make a mess.
So that was truly inspirational. You're never working too long to be inspired by this night of great talks. We got 2 more to go. Before we get into Nancy, have you been teaching for 30? Are you bicycling through Italy? Are you really flexible? Or do you have a pie tattoo? Or some or none?
Okay. I am really flexible and can brush my teeth with my toes, but conveniently for me, I'm wearing a dress, so I will not demonstrate that. But a good friend of mine told me you don't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley, so I do not have a bike.